What's good, Liberators? Fingy's here, and this is DX2 Demon Review, and today we are talking about the Holy Mary, Mother of God. Pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. And by that, of course, I mean the Megami, Maria, the maternal figure of Christianity. Gabriel informed her that she was to be the mother of Jesus, and gave birth to him in the land of Bethlehem. Originally human, some sects revere her as the Virgin Mary for giving birth to the Son of God. Following the death of Jesus, the course of her earthly life was deemed complete, where she would then be assumed body and soul into heavenly glory. It is even said that Gabriel bestowed upon her a white lily when she conceived her son in recognition of her purity, the virginal, quite, if you will. So let's get all up in her. Now, she is a stubborn girl, pretty high vitality with 175, which is probably the stat you're going to want to focus most on because her survivability is of paramount importance for her to function, as with all demons, but especially with her because she allows you the big comeback. She's also got a really good magic stat. What's that? 119 that comes out to originally. And despite the fact that you're really probably not going to be using her to attack, though you could, the option is there if you're looking to set up that big turn 2 counterattack where your plan is to survive turn 1, wipe them out in turn 2. That option's there. Her agility is also something you're really going to want to keep an eye on. She has no need for luck. She's immune to status ailments, and she does not inflict status ailments, so just ignore luck altogether. Agility, give her as much agility as she needs to go first on whatever team you're running. As you can see here, I've got her with 12 agility. That's because the team I was running her on, I needed that to get her to the front of the line so that she could wipe away any potential ailments that came along, which is something she is able to do. She resists physical, which is useless, nulls force and light, okie dokie, also useless, resists darkness, which again, super useless. Skills, the transferable, salvation, thematically appropriate, heals all party members, cures all status ailments, power of 95 healing on that. Level this up, which you really should do, because it gives you -1 MP cost to this 9 MP beast of a skill, and you also get plus 10% to the healing effect. So you really got to level this one up. If you have her panel 1, that greatly helps the situation, but even with that, you're going to want to level this up so you can have MP to wipe away any emergency ailments should they come about. For her first unique skill of the Stella Maris, plus 50% to max HP, oh my god, becomes immune to all status ailments, goodbye Daisujo, adds Null Mortal, fantastic, because otherwise we would have to waste her archetype skill on Null Mortal, as is the case with literally every other demon. While the one with this skill is alive, all party members will receive the following effect: increases natural MP recovery by 1 MP, so everyone on the team, instead of increasing MP by 3 every time their turn comes around, it's 4. 5 if you got Divine Brands on, 6 if you got Divine Brands on, plus, what is that skill? Infinite Chakra, so you can see the kind of ridiculous things you can get up to. She is God tier in any kind of boss fight, long-term fight. For this alone, for the MP, for the party-wide MP boost alone, that's insanely useful, as any of you who run Dimensional Lakshmi can probably attest. Level this up, which I strongly recommend you do. Fortunately, it's cheap. It's only 4 levels, plus 20% to her maximum HP, making this skill plus 70% to her maximum HP overall. And right now, as you can see, I've got her HP at 4,650. I've seen teams with her HP upwards of 7,000. So you can go wild with this and make her just perhaps you can give her the highest HP of any demon in the game because of her unique skills, her passive skills, in conjunction with transferables and brands and whatnot. So keep an eye on that. Her HP is probably the thing you're going to want to focus most on. As for her other unique skill, another passive. She's a very passive lady. She's the Virgin Mother. She doesn't get her hands dirty. She's very passive. She's very maternal. Activates the following chain effect when a member of your party, including herself, is downed. Removes revive ban from allies. Increases attack, defense, evasion, and accuracy of all party members by 20%, and heals all party members with a power of 80. Those buffs last for 1 turn. Activates the following chain effect at the end of an enemy turn if a party member is downed. Revives all party members with 100% HP. This can only be activated once per battle. The chain effect won't activate when your party is wiped out. It also will not activate if she herself is dead. Don't let the original chain effect listing confuse you where it says including her. Her chain effect kicks off. This is a separate chain effect. So Maria needs to live in order for the party-wide revive to kick in at the end of the enemy's turn. And when that kicks in, that means you get full press turns. It's not at the beginning of your turn, it's at the end of the enemy's turn. So you get all 4 press turns back for that massive counterattack. So if you like those long drawn out battles, or perhaps you want to just set up for one giant counterattack in which you wipe out the enemy in one big wave, this is the lady for you. If you level this up, plus 15% to her healing skill effectiveness, which, okay, I mean, she's got salvation, but the real money for her is in those 2 passive skills. It's nice to have her be able to throw up a salvation to wipe away ailments, and hey, heal a little bit of damage, but usually healing in PvP is a losing proposition. Revives are big money. Healing, not so much. You're probably going to be passing with her more often than not, unless you go with one of her archetypes that gives her, I believe, Megadolon, and you're setting her up so she can be a part of the big counterattack, but that is completely up to you. So just remember, she does need to live for that big revive at the end of the enemy's turn. As for the archetype skill, I've got her in the Protector archetype for another unique skill designed and given exclusively to her. Goddess Embrace revives a single party member with 100% HP and casts Barrier on them. Not bad. 3 uses limited. So, hey, it only costs 6 MP because it's in the archetype slot, and since she's the only demon to have this skill, it's 6 MP and not 7 MP. If it were transferable, it would be 7 MP, but archetype slot, 6 MP. There it is. Give her a revive. So even after, if you got a long drawn-out battle and a demon falls, you can raise them right back up and keep the party going. For the transferables, gotcha her with Epitome of Fortitude, another 20% to max HP and minus 50% to critical hit rate of damage received. With all those Astaroths out there, this will not help you. Astaroth gets a plus 100% to his critical hit rate. This will help you a lot with other demons who don't have plus 100% to their crit rate, but with Astaroth, he is going to be hitting you hard. So get that HP up there as high as humanly possible. So the plus 20% max HP to this skill comes in. HP skills for her are good money, especially now with Astaroth, who cuts right through Endures, Enduring Souls, and he's not the only one. Your Astro Lords, many other demons, Uber Beelzebub can cut right through those Enduring Souls. So get that HP up there, because those Endures will not save you, not in 2020. 22. Speaking of which, her second skill, I got Enduring Soul Plus on there because I had this thing sitting in my skills for so long, never gave it to anyone, and I figured, why not? The Virgin Mother is worth it. Anything, any transferable to boost up her HP is probably a good way to go. And other than that, unless you're setting her up to be a part of a big comeback, but even then, you're going to want to focus solely on her HP, because if I'm coming at you with my offensive team, I'm smacking Maria down pretty much first and foremost, unless Ji Wang Mu's there. And if Ji Wang Mu's there, she's going down first quickly, and then Maria's going to be soon to follow. So you got to make sure she's able to withstand that kind of punishment. So focus on HP, 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 HP all day long. You probably don't have a lot to fear from magic attacks with her if you spike her HP up high enough, but physical attacks can crit on her, wear her down real quick. So make sure you get that physical defense going too. As for brands, got it with the life brands and the heal brands. Life brands are probably non-negotiable in this situation, because her big thing is she lets you mount the big comeback. You know, even if a tidal wave of offense comes forward, if she's still standing at the end, everybody comes back and everybody gets the counter. So life brands, and I would say guard brands are a real solid choice for her, because the thing she has to fear the most is probably the hard-hitting physical demons. She doesn't have any weaknesses to exploit, so the crits are all you really need to worry about for people getting extra press turns on her. So guard brands, perhaps even evasion brands, if you got the branding for it. She doesn't have any passive abilities, at least not built into her kit with evasion percentage on it, but if you can make her a slippery girl, the physical demons are all going to be gunning for her, so that might be a good play. You know, even if she gets hit 2 out of 3 times, she dodges that one, that ends the enemy turn perhaps. Hey, something to consider. And since she comes with a natural MP +1 to her anyway, divine brands you can probably set to the side, although you could if you just want her to be an unending battery of salvations. I mean, that is certainly something to consider. As for the panels, panel 1 reduces the cost of salvation by 3 MP, increases the uses of salvation by 6, so you can use salvation 9 times instead of 3. Pretty huge for a long protracted battle. Not so useful for PvP, but the -3 MP cost reduction is massive for PvP. If you level the skill up and get this panel, brings it down to the cost of 5 MP, and that is crucial, just crucial. Otherwise, you're only probably going to be able to pop that off once or twice if you're lucky. As for panel 2, activates the following chain effect at the start of enemy turn, plus 20% of all party members, and reduces attack of all enemies by 20% for 1 turn. So basically, she turns into a P3 Earl Conic. Gotta love when they release a fusible demon that people like, and then they're like, oh, gee, we could have gotten money for this. What were we thinking? And then they take those mechanics and stick them in to a game-busting demon like Maria here. And also Astaroth, if you didn't realize the Kardikeya parallels with him. So, hey, at least they're paying attention. At least they're learning from their mistakes. Panel 3, plus 20% to max HP and plus 20% to HP healing skill effectiveness. Fantastic. Goes with both of her strengths. Bueno. Now, all you have to do is find 7 of her and getting panel 3, or doing what I did with Astaroth and dumping every universal spirit you've ever saved into them. And before we wrap this up, checking out the archetype skills. She's got some bangers. Well, for the origami archetype, Megadolon, Almighty Magic Damage, Power 120, all enemies. Like I said before, this is a potential option if you're looking to set up a big counterattack, but it does have its problems. It's an almighty attack, so you can't score a half press turn on it. And if you did like I did, and you made sure that she was in the front of the line, she was acting first, that means in order to use this, it would cost you a full press turn on your counterattack, which is, if you're setting up for a big turn one attack, you need to make sure of every half press turn. You need every half press turn to make that work. The same thing if you're setting up the turn two counterattack. You need every press turn to make that work. So unless you got her in turn two and you've got a turn one, someone in that first place who's going to get that half press turn and then goes to her and she goes Megadolon and you go along down the line, you could set it up that way, but then you put yourself at risk for ailments. If she's not at the front of the line and the demon you got in the front of the line is charmed or something to that effect, it can wreck you. So you really want her at the front of the line to cleanse the air before things get really messy. So that's the calculus you're gonna have to deal with when considering using that. The Protector archetype, Goddess Embrace, which we discussed. The Psychic archetype, Recovery Amp, plus 25% to healing skill effectiveness. She's got healing skill effectiveness boosts all over. Again, I'm generally not a fan of healing in PvP. I just find it to be a losing proposition. But, geez, with all the healing skill boosts she got, she might be able to make it work. Especially with that natural plus 1 MP boost she gets. You can potentially go for days if you set up a real stubborn team that just goes and goes and goes. And this is something to consider. If you're setting up a turn 2 team with her and you combine her with Astaroth, whose new skill, his Origami archetype comes with a new skill that hits all enemies for physical damage and it drains 2 MP from the enemy. It's an insane skill, and you could be using that up to 3 times. Actually, with the MP, well, no, if you went second, yeah, you could, and with her in the party, yeah, you could use that 3 times in your turn 2 counterattack, which means your enemy is completely useless for the rest of the battle, because he's just going to keep stealing it, and it basically completely neuters any potential counteroffensive they can launch against you. So having this in there with her healing skill, where you're just keeping everyone topped off, and their offense has been nerfed so badly by Astaroth stealing those 2 MP, that's really, really something to consider. If you got both of them, you might want to think about the Recovery Amp archetype, although it would be hard to argue against Goddess Embrace for Recovery Amp, because having an extra 3 revives in your back pocket, and your demon's got 5, 6, 7k HP, keeping everyone up, it's hard to argue against that. And for the Elementalist archetype, Drain Light, thematically appropriate, completely useless. Don't know why you'd use it over anything else. I just dislike Elementalist archetypes on the face of them. And that is all I got today for the Virginal Mother in White. And I just have to say that look at this statue design. Look, take a moment to look at what you got here, right? You've got, it looks like a lion, got a fish, it's like a salmon, right? You got a snake in the back, you've got a bull in the middle there, an eagle popping at the top, and at the bottom right, there's a GD Velociraptor wrapped around the stump. Why is it there? Kaneko only knows. That's all I got for you, Liberators. Don't get captured.